winner will move on to face Psyched in the next round, and the lower will drop out of the tournament as at around like 20-something place, I think. But we have already started, so let's get this prologue out of the way, and let's hope nobody dies.
So just keep in mind going into this, it's on in-game time, and as you can see, just because Benteezy had a slight earlier start beginning the game, he will have a 9 or so second, like, fake lead, I guess. They'll be pretty much tied out of this prologue, assuming that Millay doesn't die. Oh, Benteezy froze. I hope he's not, like, tabbed out or something, because I would actually lose time. I hope it's just lag.
I think this is for syncing up the streams.
Okay, yeah.
So that should be on our end then.
Yeah, so never mind what I just said, we're synced up now. That was really nice work from whoever did that to get that issue out of the way, because that can be annoying to deal with. But now we should have an actual RTA sync, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
Another small thing to note, Benteezy's timer is actually on his live split because he is using the file timer. So on Millay's screen you can see his time at the top left, whereas for Benteezy, because he's just using the chapter timer, you'll have to look at his timer at the bottom for that. Yeah, anyway, going really quickly through City, haven't seen any major mistakes from either player so far. Because this is a pretty consistent chapter, just with a lot of practice, of course. Because it's very short.
Pretty much. It's quite funny how much time you can sink into City just for those extra seconds. After all, world record has been sub 1 minute now.
Yeah. That's something that actually ends up happening a lot in this game, is that people feel like they spend too much time in City, and then they get to Summit, which is like 10 minutes long, and then they can save a ton of time.
Yeah, but we're still grinding City. Had the same issue. I could just practice City all day, even though there's way more time to save in other chapters.
It's just really...
Speaking of other chapters...
Yeah, it's just really satisfying to play. This one's also satisfying to play. It's also somewhat short.
I like this chapter a lot. It's just
there were no
dream block to make the game cool.
Yeah, there were no huge movement gimmicks in City. I guess you have like the moving traffic blocks, but most chapters have some form of moving blocks. This chapter introduces a gimmick, which is the dream blocks. You can dash right through. And then the battle line chase, which in a lot of circumstances, there are some screens where Battlein, because she has a 3-second delay from you, she like can barely get away from her spawn position before the screen ends. That was a nice diagonal dash from Benteezy. Oh, that was actually a cool strat. I haven't seen that before. He went way higher up above that block to get the battle lines out of the way, and then he could just go right under him.
Yep.
Taking a fat death on the shortcut, though. There he goes.
There's actually a strat developed using an ultra to not have to go out of your way to still beat battle line on that cycle. Well, if you want to call it a cycle. But Benteezy's way is also an option, of course. So Millay catching up a bit, and yeah, go ahead.
He's actually maintaining. I was about to say the same thing. He's maintaining a few second lead at this point, as of like 12 or 13 seconds, maybe. Barely sub 4 out of that chapter, and Millay will be probably like a 4:10. Close to that.
So good 10-second difference so far. And out of ult side, that is quite substantial. You usually expect the bigger gaps to form in Resort.
Oh, barely missing that cycle. We kind of like overshot the spring a little bit. You can make it over those dust bunnies before they like roll up to you, but you overshot it slightly and got hit there.
And yeah, nice long room. Shoutouts to his own tutorial for me being able to figure out how that room went.
Yeah, that strat that he hit in the first room, they both hit it, can be pretty difficult, at least to do consistently. But this level, like, teaches you, I think it teaches you kind of a really important concept in this game, at least for learning the speedrun, that, like, you need to have muscle memory down enough that you anticipate what the next screen is going to be before you get into it. Because there's a lot of screens where you have to, like, do certain movement going into it for a strat to work right. But that's because there are a lot of cycles in this room, or in this chapter in general. Just because there's so many moving dust bunnies, these little obstacles in the way.
Yeah, and since the death cycle is so much different, usually you want to get the entry cycle right on the first try. So you need to enter with the right momentum. Death cycles
are really annoying too.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting things on first try is important. Because when you die, you go through this little respawn animation whenever you enter the room. This cycle always starts in the same way, but you have a little bit of a delay from when you need to respawn. So the death cycle is basically the same cycle, but slightly ahead of itself, I believe. So it's basically an entirely different thing that you have to deal with.
It's like around half a cycle, it feels like usually.
Yeah, like Millay, the cycle he's on there, he had to wait one extra cycle for the dust bunnies there. Because he did take a death, and it had to go a little bit ahead. Because on the entry cycle, you can like barely make it through that. And the delay just makes it really difficult.
Yeah, for some example, in Benteezy's room here, you can actually get half a cycle earlier if you time some tough wall bounces together. But it can be really hard to hit. Millay is entering that same room right now. See if he goes for it. But it allows you to take the wall bounce on the right wall instead of the left, which is like half a cycle faster.
So Ben is actually still pulling through here. That's a nice cycle right there that he made.
Our room is so rough. Since there's actually instances where it can go too fast and then you don't go over the final bunny.
Play getting it as well.
Into the dreaded worst room of the game? Not really, but one thing I've noticed is that, people die a lot in the coin room in speedruns, while casually I've barely ever seen anyone die, which is weird to see.
Yeah, it's incredibly easy if you take it slow, but there's a lot of really aggressive strats for it. So, like, it can get really easy to die on it. That's a rough death there, because the death cycle here is annoying. You can't do the same strat that you're used to. Nice hypers, getting that key.
Ooh.
That's rough.
Millay getting a slight concussion there. Bonks his head.
But yeah, Ben's still, like, basically an entire section ahead at this point.
Yep.
Get up there, he's having trouble getting out of the hole. Alright, and now going into a Shira. That was neat right there. I haven't seen that variation of that screen before.
Like with the corner boost?
No, he like ultra'd down below the block and then jumped back up instead of corner boosting on top of it.
Interesting.
Oh, barely making that cycle sometimes if you try to go for that, you'll like barely miss it, and Oshiro will just come through and hit you. Oh, oof. Getting a haircut there against those Dust Bunnies. He like barely brushed against them and lived.
Oh, he made it.
Nice finish though.
Millay taking a rough death. That was really close for Benteezy.
Yeah, I think that was actually. I think I know why that mistake happened, and it's pretty annoying. Is that he was trying to land past that bumper and barely hit the end of it, and that like threw his movement off. That's something that can be annoying to adapt to, because you generally want to aim to get past that little spring there, but sometimes you just barely hit it and it bounces you up and it throws you off.
Oh right, and then he's getting a hyper ready, so he dashes down right immediately.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think he dashed down into the Dust Bunnies.
Yep, makes sense. So he lost a bit of time there, for sure. Looks to be around... Well, let me see.
Yeah, Ben is definitely holding on to his lead here.
35 seconds difference.
Can maintain that through the late game, because it is really early into the run to say anything, really.
True. But, Golden Ridge, also known as the bitrate eater. Because especially the wind likes to chomp on that bitrate. You can see it immediately already on both runners' screens.
Oh no, barely missing the ultra there. He barely overshot the platform. That looked good. But that's like a 10-second death. See if he goes for it again. Oh, he actually is. He wants it. Okay.
Yep.
I respect that, being brave enough to go for it again after losing 10 seconds to it with the lead. Well, we don't know if he knows that he has a lead. But he's definitely been holding on to it well.
Definitely. And I actually think for that strat to save time, you need to get the final wall bounce at the end. Otherwise, it's very little difference. Might be wrong, but sounds about right.
Oh, like the ultras for the auto-scroller skip?
Yeah. I think I heard Teach mention that when he was practicing it.
Yeah, it's like not even a full second faster, but people think it looks cool. Apparently. Oh, okay. Good awareness there from him. He most likely didn't have enough height to clear that gap, and he realized and landed back on the block. That could have been a very bad death, but he saved it right when he needed to. Now going into the face.
So far he's pulling out the clutch saves. Maintaining the lead. But, still looking at a somewhat decent Golden Ridge time. Sure, he's not like happy with it for his skill level, but no, he managed to get those saves in. Yeah, exactly.
Could have been worse.
Ooh, Millay missing the extension on his hyper there. As his Ridge looks to be quite similar actually, maybe even slightly slower.
It's like 2 or 3 seconds slower. I mean, assuming he doesn't die here. But yeah. So the lead is kind of staying static, actually.
Yep. On to my second favorite chapter in the game after Old Sight. Mirror Temple.
That was a cool
Mostly
wave
because
dash.
of a strat here, if he gets it. Ooh. Never mind.
Dang, it can be pretty rough. We can watch if Millay goes for it.
Yeah, I want to see...
But it's not a huge, like, make or break thing. It just saves a couple seconds. Ooh, barely missing that wave dash there. Going for this skip. Already got it.
Benteezy taking it slightly safe there in order to ensure he doesn't die. Oh, almost. Almost looked like he went to grab a crystal heart, but you don't have a key with you, sir.
Yeah, he landed on the corner. On the corner of the...
Oh.
Barely missing it from away. He landed on the corner of the block, and so he didn't get his dash back.
Yeah, did an accidental wall kick instead. I like to call those, in the spirit of this stream, I like to call them corner yikes.
Corner yikes, corner bops. Whatever you want to say. I don't think there's like a fully agreed like esports term for
Well,
them.
there is, but it's not great.
No, I mean like an esports term as like a stream friendly term.
Yeah, exactly.
Corner fricks.
Yeah, or you could call them awks, which make them accidental wall kicks. I like that because that's just awkward. But it's...
And that's a more like accurate description of what actually happens too.
Yeah. Benteezy having a relatively clean unraveling here.
I think Millay should be on the same pace getting out of unraveling as Ben is. Both having decent times out of here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Millay just barely ahead, like basically a second. So we'll see if that continues through Theo.
Well, one thing's for sure, I want to see some ultras.
We'll see if they go for them. Oh my
Ooh.
gosh, that duck, what was that? How did he live? Okay. Does Madeline's Furbox just completely disappear when she's ducking? What was that?
I'm not sure, but I know her hair has no hurt box.
That was crazy. I've had that happen to me like one time before and I was very surprised. Oh,
Ooh.
actually getting boosted there from the Seeker. That was neat. Looking for the moving platform boost here. Easy enough. So yeah, thanks to that save with the duck, actually doing just fine on Theo.
Yep. Although, since Millay's using Ultra Strats, he might actually gain some time here. Depending on how well it goes, obviously.
Losing his momentum there. But yeah, he has been getting some good ultras in. Because those give you a ton of speed, you can just fly past. They're used in, like, the entrances of, like, every other screen. They're used a lot.
Yep.
Ooh, that was neat. Actually, opting to, do a dash jump or a super dash off of the block instead of a hyper. So that he could continue his momentum into the next screen.
Ooh, Benteezy missing feathers.
I don't actually know if that's faster, but it looks like it is pretty good.
Still around 40-second difference, it looks like.
Ooh, nice.
Benteezy just got first try leg skip.
Yeah, and getting it out of the water too. You'll probably see Millay go for like skip as well, maybe doing the more conventional method.
Oops, forgot the Kevin there. You do need that boy.
Yeah, this chapter and the one chapter after it is where things might change a little bit in terms of lead, because it's been pretty static the entire run where Ben has kept like a 20-25 second or so lead. And then these chapters are very likely to change that. That's rough. Missed the hyper off the block. There we go. Getting it that time. You want to get that moving block out of the way.
Not true crush percent, but quite close. Yeah, crush percent is a joke. Psyched actually, I think, started where he got crushed by some really weird block in the next chapter, and that's called crush percent now. That was like a 1 pixel thing. It's
oh my gosh, barely hitting the spikes there. He had so much momentum.
Ooh.
Oh no, it just stopped on him. If he can make it this time. Hitting the bumper, I guess it's an alternative.
Yeah. Second time he actually dashed too early, since dashing completely stops your momentum if you don't hyper on or anything.
He dashed, and then right before he hit the wall, the dash ended, so he lost his speed.
Yup.
I haven't seen that wall bounce before. Top route from Benteezy. I know he likes this route. There we go, nice.
Let's see if we can get the feather strat here. I've seen him do this a few more times.
Millay going the bottom route as well. Ooh. Nice screen from Ben with those bumper boosts. Yeah, Millay actually going bottom path, so you could see the two alternate strats there.
And probably a different strat in that room as well, yep. Ooh.
Barely making it through there.
Yeah. You want to avoid the feather transformation back into Madeline in order to make the faster cycle there. Alright. Coming up to the fight, and of course the Badline boost.
Getting a huge hyper off this block. Whee! Nice, barely making it through.
And I'm getting my hay ass ready.
Millay is gaining time here for sure. He is much closer than he was than the chapter started.
Oh yeah, it's catching up. It's now only like 2 or 3 screens. I'm gonna say 2. So any death in a long room
could actually even it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then Summit happens, of course.
Yeah, same applies for Summit.
Hopefully they can get solid Summits. Oh, barely living there. The balls. I wanted to say fireballs, but I actually don't know if they're fireballs. The energy balls.
Energy
rush,
balls
like,
of
right
doom.
against him. Same for Millay. Getting the ultras there, nice. Ooh, no.
Oh.
Not a very costly death, but things can add up at this point.
Millay messing up the Ultra Strat.
Ooh, trying to skip the feather here. Never mind, opting to go with it. These kind of tiny deaths are actually gonna let him catch up. They're in the same screen now.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about, how they add up. Nothing really costly, but they're very close now.
And so far in heading into Summit, we might just have a real race on our hands. As if it wasn't real before, but...
But yeah, now we have something much more close and exciting. Ooh. Oh no, Millay. That separates them back a little bit more. Let's just see how things go through the remix ending here. Off flying right into the spikes. That just happens if you hyper barely too late. Needs,
yeah.
I believe it does.
Yeah.
That
if you go too
like
late, you miss. If you go too early, it's like if you go too late, you die. If you go too early, you go under.
Yeah, because you need a specific amount of momentum from the block to make it through there. It's a lot of manipulation with the amount of speed that these moving blocks give you, like the one where he hypered with a bunch of height there.
Ooh, Millay actually ahead now.
Yeah, Ben taking a bunch of tiny deaths, and that's just barely letting him catch up.
It's gonna come down to this final room. Ooh, okay, made it.
Yeah, Millay actually made up like 30 seconds here. That's unfortunate for Ben, because he's been maintaining this lead the whole time. Let's just see if he can bring things back in Summit.
Yeah.
Still only like a... I want to say 10-15 second difference. 24-34. Ben should be getting like a 24-45. Oh no.
Not.
Skip the cutscene. Skip the cutscene. Okay, you took a few extra seconds there finishing
Wait.
up. Okay,
Oh,
fine.
okay. Huh? That...
I was gonna type some message. I hate I hate
reflection.
reflection.
But yeah.
Chapter 6. Yeah. Understandable.
He's not alone in that sentiment. So, but returning to map on that cutscene actually gives you the next chapter already? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it takes slightly more time to menu, but...
Yeah, it's the same IGT.
I wonder if he knows that it was actually... super close, because he wasted like 3 extra seconds, like making that decision to do that. And can he recover this? I don't think he can. That's unfortunate.
But it was also like a 719 reflection, which is just kind of not great.
Yeah.
For any
That
runner.
same mistake again.
He's
definitely
below,
tilted.
Yeah. Like for any runner below 40 minutes, that is not good at all. So Millay kind of running away with it a little bit. Of course, now we have a kind of a big IGT desync. So we have to do some math, but other than math.
Yeah, it's fine. Ben actually just needs a really solid summit here.
And
because he is like half a section behind, maybe like 2/3 section behind. It's like 40 seconds, I think. Maybe more. Because Millay has been taking some deaths. And Ben hasn't had any since that one room in in the first section of Summit.
Yep. And I've been tracking Millay's pass-through time to 1000, so it's 24-second difference entering 1000.
And Millay did take a couple deaths, so it should be a little bit less, assuming they're fine. Where is he going? Ben, why are you getting the berry? No, dude.
He wants to take the berry home.
Oh my god.
Where's he going?
He's playing ARB, dude.
Okay, that's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, he's doing ARB strats.
He's getting all of them.
Alright.
Is he going for the 1-up?
Maybe. Who knows? It looks like it.
I don't remember how many berries there are in 1K. Because I haven't...
Okay, well there they go.
Yeah, I think he's done.
Yeah.
Ouch. Now that's what I call a yikes. Yeah, so he was going for 1-up. And then died. Kind of. I don't know. Well, Millay meanwhile is just trucking along quite strong. So just have to reach the summit in order to, like, how do you say that? End up victorious? Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Moving into 2500. I still want to see a decent time out of Millay here, just for a measure of to see how well he will probably do against Psych moving on. But I guess actually in theory Ben can still win, question mark, because IGT is kind of weird in that way. But it's,
yeah, Millay is looking to get like a 35, I think.
Really?
Which, well, yeah, I think so, because it's around a 3-minute segment for 3,000.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He's looking to get like a 35.
Well,
I mean,
it depends on his 3K. You can still get a 34 here. Like I've seen people get 240 3000s.
Yeah, but he's gonna be exiting at like 3130 though. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
you're
possible.
right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically, on that position you could still win.
Theoretically.
Yeah, because you do have the checkpoint to enter into 1K.
Yep. So it's just kind of hard to figure out their like total game time pace during these chapters since they were so close to each other. Because I think I'm not sure how Millay will feel getting a 35, seeing his PD is around 31.
It's likely just rust. It's kind of easy to tell actually, just because like Millay's play is not bad by any means, but like there's just been a ton of screens where he took like multiple deaths.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens when you have really clean strats but are just rusty.
Yeah, good point. Alright, flag 19 updraft section can be. It has one of the few quote unquote fun flags, but most of them are kind of shitty. I'm looking at you, 14.
How did he not get that? Wow, he barely missed that flag there. That caught me off guard. I haven't seen that flag skipped before. And like one of the few times I see it get skipped, he actually dies on it. That caught me off guard.
Oof. That looked like you almost was gonna lose an arm there on the spikes. That was really close.
Yeah, GG to Benteezy. It was good to watch while you were in.
Right. Almost there. Onto the final screen of the run. If you count, if you only count screens where IGT is actually running, of course. This epilogue.
I mean, yeah, there's no more screen transitions for the rest of the game, technically, so.
Yeah, epilogue is maybe a thing, but.
In any percent.
Yeah.
I guess.
And we're almost there.
Wait, I am terrible at math because he got a 34-26, so. I don't know how to add numbers, apparently. I added like an extra minute from somewhere that I wasn't thinking of, but yeah.
3,000. GG to Millay. We'll move on and face off against Sight in the next round of the lower bracket. And that will be a rough, well, not rough, a tough matchup. Because Sight has been improving a lot recently.
Yeah, that is a tough bracket to move right into Sight after a match like this.
So let's see if we might get Millay in here to talk about his run for a little bit. If not, we will close off this amazing little show. And we'll, of course, inform you when to find the next race. Since we're not done yet, we're not into top 8 just yet. We just still need the lower bracket to clean up. And, of course, those will all be featured on different speed gaming channels.
I'm actually not sure what's coming up. I know there's a couple matches. I have to go check, actually.
There's 2 on Sunday that I'm going to cover.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. Yeah, on Sunday in 2 days, we have Swazi versus M Sushi and Black Pear versus Birdo Prey. Those are actually both promising sounding matches to watch.
For sure.
Because everyone in that bunch is really good. And they've all been playing recently, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Yeah, as we get closer and closer to top 8, the best of 1s will eventually make way for best of 3s. So then the races get a whole new light to them, where you can actually, you can actually afford to have a bad run and still win the race.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that'll be racing in the best of 3s are so close in skill that I'll actually expect to see maybe a lot of Game 3 matches where it runs right to the end. Those are really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The few show matches I've seen that have been that way have all been really good. But yeah, I think that is probably it for us. We don't have any interviews currently, so we'll have to sign off here in a second. Yeah, stick around. Things are almost about to get to the really juicy stuff in this bracket, so kind of slows down in pace a little bit in terms of keeping up with the matches, but what you do get is really good, I guess, quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's the general gist of it.
Yeah.
So, just to reiterate, on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern, yep, we have Swessi
Combining the names there a little bit.
Sushi. And I will be commentating that together with Troy of Athens, as well as the race later on that day at 2 p.m. Eastern, which, again, Black Parrot versus Bird of Prey. Both should be very exciting and interesting to watch for sure. So I'll hope you see you there.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you later, guys. Peace.
Peace.